The Water Margin is a series of Chinese folk tales. They're not native Japanese stories, but woodblock artists down through the centuries have converted the stories of the Water Margin to be Japanese tales. And that's what we're looking at here. We're looking at Chinese stories that have been converted to Japanese. These prints were all done by Yoshitoshi, who did them about 1865, 1866, probably over a period of 2 or 3 years. The first is a print of Tagaki Umanosuke, who finds himself trapped in a temple late at night, and he's put to the test. His courage is put to the test by ghosts, and you can see from the resolution on his face that he passes this test with flying colors. The second print, Inoue Shimbi, who encounters a beautiful young woman who is actually a transformed badger. It's a transformational animal that can transform between being a badger and a woman. And needless to say, this is a scary yokoi. The third is kind of a man who is noted Casanova, noted lover, but he's what you'd call a bad date. He could bewitch others by with a butterfly, and you can see the butterfly at the bottom. He's standing on it there, or emerging out of it. And the fourth is a woman who is a notorious robber, Shizunami Okayaku. She was wicked as a demon. She robbed and she was finally captured and beheaded. These are all different stories from the series of tales that are contained in the Water Margin. This is an interesting copy of the Water Margin, translated into English by Tuttle Publishing. Tuttle Publishing is one of those places that I always look. I look on their website if I need information. Here's another book by Tuttle Publishing that I've used, A Brief History of Japan by Jonathan Clements, which is a wonderfully concise yet insightful history of Japan. If I need a Japanese reference book, this is the first one I turn to. One of the things I'd like to make clear is that you cannot cross-reference the Japanese stories you see here with the Chinese stories that are in the book. All the names have been changed, the order has been changed, the stories have been edited, there's no text. So you're not going to be able to look up this character here in this book. The two are going to appear disconnected. Japanese people like these stories, but they change them into Japanese stories, and they change them without regard for the original stories in the Chinese. So they evolved away from the original text. So the names are different, the places are different. You can't match up these prints with these particular stories in this book. Not all the stories from the Water Margin are included in this book. This is a selection of stories. There's one other small detail that I'd like to point out. These prints are half the size of a normal Japanese print. They're called chuban. A regular Japanese print is called oban. Most of the prints you'll see on the market are oban prints. If you have a diptych or a triptych, it's combining 2 or even 3 oban prints together. But a chuban print is printed 2 to a sheet. So 2 of these prints would be on 1 sheet of paper as it went through the press. And then they're cut apart and sold as small-sized prints.